it's a bit of a sticky situation if you're a little bit out of position and it's a little bit awkward. You can pop those wards to give you a little bit of an advantage and help you reverse the situation. Um, so Shadow Shaman, it's a strong pick, but at the same time, he's very fragile. So if he gets jumped on, particularly since they've got a puck on the side of Coronae Australis, that puck can just blink in, silence, and then that Shadow Shaman, he's not doing anything for a while. Um, so you got to be careful with how you position him as well, which is basically how you should be playing any supports. Positioning comes in, you know, massive deal uh, in the game of Dota. So we'll see exactly how iCy do with this. I think that they still need a good mid lane hero unless they decide to. No, there we go. There's a Templar Assassin, and I think that's a good choice considering the puck's been picked up on Coronae. I think Templar shouldn't have too much trouble in that mid lane.
And I mean, especially that refraction. Refraction is just so strong. Getting that bonus damage being able to rip through heroes and having the refraction, or not refraction, the side blades bounce behind. Puck has I think a 550 attack range, so Puck generally comes in a little bit closer to try and harass you down. And if those side blades, they bounce back, they do a lot of damage. They ignore all armor when they're after the target when they hit you. So Puck doesn't have a too high armor in general, but being able to ignore it, she doesn't have a higher health pool either, so you can harass Puck out. Force out that early bottle, which Puck will be going for, and possibly even having to bottle crow if you can get enough side blade refraction charge hits off onto that Puck.
Yeah, that's certainly true. Refraction's just gonna it helps the last hit as well. And of course, side blades, as you said, hits all the way to back units. But the refraction is there just to ensure that can't really take much damage because the absorb and much easier time last hitting and whatnot in that lane. You really sort of need it to ensure that your early game Templar Assassin is a shutdown. You get that nice big farm, so you can either get a quick blink dagger or a quick desolator and start moving around the map causing havoc.
And now let's get into the teams. For the side of iCy, you do have on that Marauder will be picked up by Rikum, who is the captain. Bacon will be picking up your Alchemist. Cripsy taking your Tempo Assassin. Duster on your Bristleback. And finally, Leifon will be rocking up the Shadow Shaman.
And on the side of Coronae Australis, we do have their captain, the Magibum. On that lifesteal, we've got Kaizik on the Visage. We've got DN4 Darkrai on the Timbersaw. V2 is sitting on the Puck, and last but not least, we've got Rylos on the Lich.
So, early game, it looks like we are currently seeing 2-on-2 with mid lane. Rylos is just going to try and deny creep and then rotate up top. Just give V2 a little bit of additional experience lead in the mid, and if he can start denying some of these creeps, he'll start to continue to push that lead. If he can hit level 2 before TA, that's always a nice move, especially as a Puck. The faster you can, higher up levels you are, the more effective you are. I mean, that's like that with a lot of heroes, but Puck's one of those heroes that needs it more than most people, because you want that silence up as long as possible. You want your Dream Coil up and running, and you just need to be able to get that orb to do that extra damage, because without those 3 abilities, you can't really do too much. He's not an auto attack hero, he's very squishy, he can evade a little bit, but that's about all he has to it. Whereas you look at other heroes on the side of iCy, Alchemist, he will be ran as, I would say, possibly the support here, if not. But you look at these heroes, they don't necessarily need these experience as much as possible. Leifon just wants to hit level 6, the rest of that just comes with time. Alchemist has his stun, and that's all you really need. Rikum, arrow with a little bit of starfall damage, he's got 1 point in leap, so level 4, he's doing what he needs to do earlier in the game, but Puck, he needs that levels, he needs the experience, and hopefully he'll be able to pick it up as fast as possible.
Yeah, definitely, and pick up the Lich is always a good idea, and even if you just deny one creep in that mid lane, it certainly helps out with the lane equilibrium, and it'll ensure that V2 gets a little bit of extra early farm.
Denied.
I like the movement of these illusions just to annoy Cripsy a little bit. Pop those refraction stacks. I gotta say though, this is... Oh, actually Darkrai gets stunned up. Bottom lane almost dies actually. Falls very, very low. So it will be a farming Alchemist here. Bacon, carry. Rikum on the support run, which is sort of what he's been playing most of this weekend.
And so, Harry Alchemist, we haven't been seeing used to too much of great effects so far in this tournament. I think the 2 times we have seen a carry Alchemist, they did unfortunately not complete the game, and well, not complete the game, but they didn't come out on top, I should say. It's the easiest way to explain it. I'm not going to say they failed miserably, but they did. So we'll see how well Bacon can pull off this Alchemist. He does have... but we will see how well Bacon can pull off this carry Alchemist. He's picked up the Grievance Greed, so he's not in any mood of trying to gank. He's going to leave that up to the Lathan. With the arrow can fly on through. Darkrai could be in a lot of trouble. He doesn't have any way of getting on out of here. Will the auto attacks be enough? He does have that additional armor and HP regen from the reactive armor. Final auto attack is not going to be enough. He puts down to 20 HP. So reactive armor is a wise choice at the start of the game, being able to keep him alive.
I think if iCy had chained that shackle and arrow a little bit better, they could have gotten a kill there.
No, it seemed like they changed it quite well. I mean, you had that shackle at the start, and the arrow hit roughly when it fell.
The shackle, I think the shackle was still up for like about another half a second or so, which, I mean, that's a little bit of extra time. Like that half a second probably could have gotten the one last auto attack in. Like it was about there, but just a little bit better. Could have gotten the kill just a tiny bit better.
Now, Darkrai, he is scared. He doesn't want to go anywhere near the action anymore in mid lane. Cripsy picks up a haze, doing a little bit of damage to V2. Top lane, though, we might have a kill in Duster. They're chasing him out. They do have an open wound. The Grave Chill is thrown out. Do we have a Soul Assumption ready? It is starting to be charged up. He's thrown out all the bristles. Soul Assumption, and that will be your first blood of the game, going to the Visage.
Wow, those Magic Bomb actually got pretty low. That's the power of Bristleback when you're attacking them from behind. But yeah, it's a nice early first blood there for them, and they're not going to have any complaints with that.
And he just TP straight back up, and he's back into the action, and he'll want to pick up his boots because as soon as possible. Now after that, he needs those boots because the slows coming out from that Visage and Magic Bomb. It's just a pain to deal with, especially with the Frost Blast. They have so much slows up here, and slows is what you kind of want against a Bristleback. Sure, the stuns are fantastic, but if you can slow Bristleback for about 13 seconds from open wounds, Frost Blast and the Grave Chill, that in the end is better than possibly two stuns that were 4 seconds.
For the temple. No.
Yep, pretty much. And Isaac is just doing a lot of harassment here on Dustin. Has to be a little bit careful himself though, because he will take a lot of damage over time, just due to the Quill Spray.
I think he might want to turn around. If he turned around here, I reckon if Bristleback turned around then and went on Visage, he could have found himself a kill, but he has to be careful. He doesn't want to give away a second kill.
Potentially. Although, considering how slow he was, he probably never would have caught up. Like, they just, as you were saying before, it was just so much slows. I think Isaac, he'll have to go back to base, heal up, and then teleport. Quite curious to see if he decides to roam anywhere at this point. Darkrai only level 2 here on that Timbersaw. Has not had any luck, and is going to miss out a lot of experience from the tier 1 tower here, killing 3-4 of these creeps.
Man.
It's a lot of wasted, and he really needs it. It's a lot of wasted experience that he otherwise could be getting.
And Alchemist, this Bacon, he's doing a really nice farm. He's going to have his Midas up in 5 minutes. He just needs to pick up 2 more creep kills, and he's got his Midas. On top of that Grievance Greed, that should help him out a fair bit. And
You didn't want it anyway.
5.5 minute Midas is your standard timing for Alchemist that's got pretty much free farm. And it just means he'll be able to get online a lot further. He'll pick up his first big item. He'll pick up boots about 7 minutes, 8 minutes. He'll pick up his big item about 15 minutes. And that's about 5 minutes faster than a lot of people will pick up their first big item. Purely because he's an Alchemist and he just gets online so much faster than a lot of heroes if he gets this time to farm. And I think Corrales? Yeah, oh no, I've already butchered their name. Coronae, that's the one. If they need to rotate down and try and kill Bacon in this game, because if he just gets consistent free farm, you've seen in other games what Alchemists do when they get complete free farm. They destroy. And when you're Coronae, you don't have much lockdown for that. You've got slows. Sure, slows are fine, but you need stuns against an Alchemist because he's got a ridiculous movement speed when he pops Chemical Rage.
Yeah, and it's very tanky. I mean, he doesn't get the health bonus as he once did. He just gets the health regeneration, but it's still health regeneration in the middle of a fight, especially if he's able to run around, if he's not locked down. Certainly helps a lot because he's able to avoid some of those extra attacks that otherwise would be happening. And here's another game coming out from iCy. We got Raccoon and Leifon trying to come here and pick up V2 in the mid lane.
And they're on freshly used smoke, so Lathan will be able to get all the way around in position. They just have to be careful that Cripsy doesn't give this away. He's trying to push his creeps into the tower. Clean up the creeps, get the creep equilibrium back into the center. Because once that's in the center, Puck will move up a little bit, and that will give time for Lathan to rotate in. And here we go. B2, is he going to push up? He is pushing up just a little bit. is still under nighttime vision. He's going to come out. It has been popped. It hasn't shown himself yet, but he's not going to be able to get it. The arrow's going to come flying through. It will not land. V2 will just dodge that. And now we have a turnaround gate coming onto Layford. He throws out the Hex. The orb's coming through. There's the silence thrown out. And that will pick off the Shadow Shaman. And now Cripsy, he's not happy. He's black for blood. He's got a double damage. He's got refraction charges. He's going to start ripping through on. He hits for 1/3 of the HP onto iCy. And now the Dream Coil is thrown down to make sure that they do not lose any supports. I like this. It was defensive. They've survived. And now to get on out of there.
Yeah, they got a kill off there relatively early. I should say with the counter gank, they didn't know that Layfon was there, but once they moved their supports in, obviously they didn't have it warded. But once they moved their supports in, it was a nice quick kill on the Shadow Shaman. That's sort of what I was talking about during the drafting phase. You gotta be really careful on where you position yourself, and I feel like that could have been a little bit avoided if there was warnings about that coming out from the top lane saying, hey, these guys are missing, just be a little bit careful. But at the same time, it's still a great pick off there for Coronae Australis.
I think Bristleback wasn't paying too much attention. He rotated down to the jungle to work on some creeps himself, and I thought something was going down there, but he rotated into the jungle by himself, so he wasn't watching that top lane, so the calls didn't come out. So, as you said, a little bit of miscommunication on a little bit of lack of map awareness allowed that to happen. They could have potentially also thought there was pulls going on, but there was a double creep wave already pushed up onto the top tier 1 tower, which meant a creep wave had already been pulled in and destroyed at that full camp. So it's just those little things that give advantages away, and for Coronae, they did pick up that additional kill. And Templar Assassin's going to go down and pick up her 3rd rune of the game, I believe. So she's got fantastic rune control at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Just amazing there, keeping those runes out. It really hurts the puck. I'm not sure if he's been bowler crawling or not. I haven't actually seen it too much, but despite that, he's taking obviously some hits from the side blades and whatnot, but he's still doing not as well as
Got
the
an engagement up
the
at top with Hex and a
um,
Shackle come out, but the problem is Rylos is here. The Rage is thrown out. Lathan's gonna fall here. He's not gonna be able to run away from this, but there is creep blocking. The creep blocking by Dust was not well enough, and Dreamcoil on that very short cooldown is already off. Dust is standing himself in the core, trying to get as much of the damage onto his back as possible. Not gonna be the case. Unfortunately, he turned around as the Soul Assumption hit him, and he took a little bit extra damage there, but it will fall, and that's a double kill going towards Coronae.
Yeah, it was a nice rotation there from our puck player V2. The thing is though, he doesn't have too many last hits compared to say Cripsy, who's sitting at 48 last hits, which is equal to the Lifestealer. Puck is only sitting on 23 last hits. In fact, Cripsy has almost denied as many creeps as V2 has killed, so that's actually really significant. That's going to slow down the blink timing for quite a while.
And Visage just getting a little bit of XP in the middle. His puck has rotated back out to get some, just get some health, refill up the bottle because he doesn't have rune control, so he doesn't have the regen to stay in that mid lane. Whereas TA, I don't think she's left this lane except to gank once, but she's just like, oh, I've got rune control, I've got regen, I'm going to stay here, grab all the XP. And if you have a look at the XP, Puck is surprisingly able to stay on level 8 just, but then TA is already halfway through that with 500 additional XP ahead. So that's about two and a half creep waves ahead of that Puck.
And you gotta remember, Puck's been involved in about 2 kills so far, I believe. One in mid and then one in top, yeah. So even with the extra kill XP is still behind, it's actually quite considerable.
And we do have Cripsy. He wanted to come down onto the Timsaw, but Timsaw's already Timber Chain out of it. So I think they're just going to push the tower. We have Shadow Shaman. He still isn't level 6 yet. He would love to hit that level 6 so he can start pushing towers himself. But 3 men down bottom. They're going to try and push it at top. A little bit of harassment coming from Layphone, and V2, he's up here, he's looking for blood, he wants to jump on, and he's got the Dream Coil off cooldown, and I love V2 at the moment. He's using Dream Coil every time it's off cooldown, and here we go, Chain Frost comes out, but it hits Layphone, it bounces off the creeps, will bounce back to Layphone, it does, we get unlucky, no he won't, it will go straight back to the creeps. If he got unlucky then, that could have came back and finished him off.
Yeah, that was very, very dangerous there, but luck is on his side, at least mostly on his side. He did get hit twice, but a third hit would have meant his death. And V2 now teleports into the bottom lane, try to stop this Alchemist from farming. But see, Bacon is actually very smart. The creeps are all the way to the tier 1 tower, and he's just gonna go into the jungle and get some nice extra gold using that Gravel's Greed.
Hmm.
And he's actually gonna go for a Shadow Blade first, I believe.
I would really like it if Raccoon did do some stacking for Bacon. I mean, Raccoon's just been sitting down here absorbing a little bit of XP off these lands. Maybe jump out once in a while, get a stack going, because the more stacks there is for Bacon to eat through, the more money and the faster online he comes. So he's working towards his Shadow Blade at the moment. He's got his Claymore. He will be picking up his Shadow Amulet in 450 gold. Once he has that online, look to see him possibly go for some ganks down in this bottom lane, because if he can Shadow Blade in with a full 4.5 second stun onto a Dark Right, I think it's 4.5 seconds or 3.5. It is 4 seconds. I am completely wrong. When that's leveled up to full, then you can start finding these kills quite easily, especially on heroes such as V2. If you don't have the reactionary speed to throw out that phase shift or the magic bomb, throw out that rage, when you come out of that invisibility, you're going to find yourself a kill, because they're usually pretty squishy heroes and you will have backup to take them down.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But obviously the Mirana there being played by Raccoon. There you go, he's rotating into mid now to see if he can help with something. But he really does want that level 6 so he can help out and potentially cause some more ganks coming around. He doesn't have the Moonlight Shadow, and with that, that can really help you, you know, be a little bit more maneuverable around the map, try to set up some kills, and it's basically, well, it's a lot better than a smoke. In some ways, like in some ways it's worse because you can be swallowed by sentries. But at the same time, you know, you don't get revealed if you walk in close proximity to a hero. So that Moonlight Shadow can certainly be useful. It just sends out a scouting arrow, and you know, crosses his fingers, maybe it'll land. But yeah, they really need to try set up something around the map because currently Coronae, they've got a lot of map control.
And speaking of that Moonlight Shadow, Coronae, they've done very well here. They've got a ward up on this high ground, and this is watching in nighttime vision. Leifan thinks he's invisible. Raccoon thinks he hasn't been spotted, because they're sitting up here in nighttime vision where you're generally not spotted. But this ward of Coronae, they know these two heroes are here, and look how far back V2 is sitting. He's not putting himself at risk, and now Raccoon shows himself, and then Leifan will show himself too. So they now think they've been revealed, because they've given up on the chase. But very nice warding coming out by Coronae, being able to know where these heroes are and pretty much protect their mid-hero Puck, who's still trying to save up for that Blink Dagger. Should be able to pick that up within the next 3 or 4 minutes, and we do have a pause coming out by Cripsy.
Yeah, I think it's probably just a little bit of lag or something going on. It should be on pause relatively quickly. There was actually a TP cancel from Kaizik. He started teleporting and basically cancelled it immediately. It seemed like he misclicked and started walking because that teleport scroll is on cooldown. So he won't be in the mid lane for, I don't know, like 30 seconds. But it doesn't matter because Raccoon, Cripsy and Leifon have backed off here. We actually have a Ogre Club coming in to the mid lane. It's gonna go to Cripsy, so it looks like that Cripsy wants to BKB first. I guess to just stop a lot of the magic damage that's coming out from Coronae Australis, which is not a bad idea, that's for sure. But gonna be playing a little bit more defensively first before going for those big items such as Desolator. I might even just skip the Blink Dagger entirely, but we'll see.
Big thing to note, the Magic Bum. The Magi Bum on this lifestealer, he's level 10. He's higher than an Alchemist who's got this free farm. You look at the net worth, he's only 1500 gold behind. And you think 1500 gold at this stage game, oh, that's pretty big, but a lifesteal against an Alchemist only 1500 gold behind is doing very well to keep up the farm of Bacon. It does help that he has picked up 2 assists. He would have loved those extra kills, but assists still work, and now he's got an armlet coming to him very shortly. He's picked up the recipe, he's got the Helm of Iron Wind, so he's only got about 700 gold to go to complete that armlet, and once he has that up, he's going to be a force to reckon with. Alchemist, he now has his Shadow Blade, so this is going to force Coronae to start picking up some dust, possibly even more sentry wards, which they're already doing. They've already got dust on the Visage, and that's how ready they are, because they also know that Templar Assassin can go invisible, so I really like how Coronae are working at the moment. They've got wards down, pre-placement wards, making sure that they're waiting for things to happen. So Moonlight Shadow used in mid, they've already got him spot out. The Observer, seeing the TP support come in. They've got dust for any kind of invisibility. Coronae are just playing a really nice game at the moment.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The thing to note as well is the Magibomb looks like he might have a faster basher than, say, a Bacon. And when you got basher armor on lifesteal, you can also rage for the extra attack speed. Sure, the Alchemist is going to be able to surprise you with a Shadow Blade, but if you get a nice rage off and then you can, you know, hit a bash or two The Alchemist is going to be doing too much damage, and not just on the Alchemist, but 1v1 Lifestealer Alchemist, that lifestyle will come out ahead, considering just based on the items that he's getting and how well he's doing so far. Of course, Alchemist can catch up and all that sort of stuff, but I think it's going to come down to a lot to how these next few minutes play out and how aggressive iCy are with the towers and stuff like that, because they really do need some.
And Chain Frost, it's bouncing around, it bounces back towards Layford, and Layford will fall. What a bit unfortunate, and now Crypto, he's coming on in, he throws down Refraction, but he gets stunned by one Familiar, and now Alchemist, he's here, but he wasn't channeling a stun, he walks into the tower, he reveals his position, and, well, they're not going to find anything now. He needed a stun being checked, now he starts channeling it, and he does throw it out, but it's a little bit too little, too late, and Raccoon has to retreat.
Yeah, and Temple Assassin Cripsy here doesn't have anything to bring her health back up, so does have Refraction, but he's actually gonna get the rune. They didn't even know about it. That's lucky.
Yeah, they did see that top rune though, because they do have one ward down. But speaking of wards, look, Coronae.
Okay, yep.
They've got the entire river watch. They got top lane, they got top river.
Denied.
They had bottom river, which is just dissipated, and they had had a ward in this middle. They were watching every kind of movement from iCy and any possibility of them rotating through this jungle or rotating through this map without a smoke in. That means this Mirana and Shadow Shaman, who have been trying so hard to rotate around this map to find kills, haven't been doing anything. And because they haven't found anything, Shadow Shaman, he's still level 5. Raccoon is level 6, and then the supports of Coronae are level 7, on par with the Bristleback who's in that offlane. And that's really nice XP going towards Coronae, and you really need Shadow Shaman to hit level 60s. Now in mid lane trying to find it, but they've missed out on picking off early towers because Lathan has been rotating to no effect.
Yeah, pretty much, and this tower should fall. I mean, the glyph gets popped, but there's no teleports, and they can't defend this. Cripsy might try to go for a deny.
We have
Sure, they can
TP.
teleport in there.
Bacon, he's going to try and find something, but there's 3 heroes. He walks into the meat grinder, and now Cripsy has to run for his life. And he had the creeps and the familiars dissipating his refraction, so his refraction lasted a whole half a second. And that's one of the great things about these familiars. They shoot pretty fast, even if they're doing 0 damage at the time. They will still burn through that refraction charge of Cripsy's.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not sure why Bacon teleported in there after the tower had pretty much, like, he teleported just as it was about to die. If you want to pop a glyph and try to defend it, you should teleport the moment you pop the glyph. Instead of, like, that was just really late.
And not to mention, he
by
should
then
be
it was too late.
farming up. I mean, you're an alchemist. You are going this farming route. Why
Yeah.
are you not just sitting back and farming? Because at the moment, Lifestealer has just taken the lead. He is now ahead of this alchemist, and that's not where an alchemist should be. He should be out the head. And anyway, in the mid lane, we have the wards. They have finally been picked up. He changes to V2. Will V2 be able to get away from the final wave? He does pop that magic wand, and that will keep him alive. Visage just pick up the Lathan, so Lathan will go down. And once again, unfortunately, the Chain Frost is not going to be too much effect there, so preemptive Chain Frost won't get a lucky bounce to Cripsy. Even if it did, there was no creeps to bounce off afterwards.
Yep, and that was a lot of farm. Oh,
And an
nice
arrow.
arrow coming out from iCy.
Will they decide to go on in? They all jump in. Could this be a little bit late? The Starfall will not land, but they will get the auto attack coming from Temporary Assassin. Now, Bacon's like, I'm going to rip through this tower. They're going to take this tower out. So now they've grabbed some middle map position. So it's a 1-for-1 trade in towers, and now they're just going to rotate down bottom.
Yeah, that's actually their first kill of the game as well for iCy. They've tried to gank and find pickoffs here and there, but unfortunately it has not worked out well for them at all. And Bacon starts charging up the stun, but a bit too late. He's gonna end up getting himself stunned. But yeah, they should really just try to get all these tier 1 towers now as quickly as possible, because they don't have the advantage in terms of kills. The gold graph isn't actually, you look at 1.7, you think, oh, this is heavily in Coronae Australis' favour, but really it's only about 1k. Experience is definitely a much different story. It's about 7.5k. But at the same time, this Temple Assassin is doing well in terms of farm, so is this Alchemist, which are the 2 heroes that you really want to have that farm on. It's a little bit unfortunate that Duster's not doing as well as he'd like. He was picked off a lot in the early game. If Duster was a little bit more, if he had his Vanguard, for example, or whatever he might be going for, then certainly I think iCy would be in a much stronger position.
And Yeah, he's got next to nothing. I mean, he's one of the lower farmers in the game. He's sitting behind the support Visage, who's doing quite well, especially since he's picked up 5 kills on a spree. He doesn't want to die anytime soon. And Smoke has been picked up by the Marana. So they want to find kills. They currently aren't finding anything, but they really, really want to pick something up. And they've just been, unlucky because Coronae have Jinso on the ball. We have a Shadow Blade Alchemist channeling this stuff. It does come on through. It does land onto 2 heroes, and Infest comes on out. This could be a lot of damage. Bacon does fall. Dust is going to fall after. He's not tanking as much as he had hoped. The wards are doing a lot of damage. Magic Bump. It's still man fighting this up. Visage picks up his 6 kill. Wards turn around. They pick off the lifesteal. It buyback from Bristleback. He is now back into the fight, trying to help out Kazak. He does not manage to pick off Lathan, and they are turning this back around. Lifesteal did manage to buy back, but he's already running home, and he won't be able to get any creep kills because last patch they did disable being able to get gold after you buy back. And Raccoon, he's still trying to chase down Darkrai. Not going to be the case, but I think that was in favor of iCy. There was a buyback on both sides, the lifesteal and the Bristleback, forcing a buyback out of the lifesteal, and he did nothing. That, in my opinion, is worth it alone.
Yeah, he can't get anything in terms of farm for a little while now. Like, he just cleared out, what, 1-2 waves worth of creeps, and he got nothing out of it, so... Yeah, the buyback certainly wasn't what they needed. They couldn't teleport back into bottom because they didn't have the tier 1 tower. I feel like that was a massive misplay from them. But now, Bristleback, Duster, he finally gets some items. He's got his Vlads, just thanks to being able to survive throughout that fight. And Bacon, who did unfortunately fall, but there is this stacks for him to pick up if to get himself back in there. And now he's 1k ahead in terms of net worth to the lifestealer.
And that's where he wants to be. He's almost got his BKB up and running. He's got 300 gold to go, and he will have that up, and he'll be able to survive these fights a little bit further, because, I mean, he was one of the first heroes to take it out of the fight, because he got burst down from magic damage. Bristleback then fell afterwards, because what kind of survivability he had? He had nothing. He now has a Vanguard, so that's at least something that will help him out in these fights to get him a little bit more tankier. Absorb some of that physical damage, but there's not much physical damage coming out by Korra. Most of it is all magic, so he should start working towards a pipe for their team, because once he has that pipe up and running, well, then I think he'll be able to start sitting in these team fights, because at the moment, he feels like a Shadow Shaman. He'll just fall as fast, and now Coronae, they're walking through into the mid lane, and they're going to be picking off the mid 1 tower. I think iCy are going to try and mount a comeback or a return fight, and anyway, V2 comes on in, they pick off the Shadow Shaman, and TP support coming from the Alchemist, but Alchemist, I think he needs to start farming, unless they can find a kill here. He does start channeling the stun does come out, it lands onto 3 heroes, what a stun, and now the Charkham's coming through, trying to slow him down, the BKB is popped, will they still be able to find any kills? Solar Sub's not going to be able to do anything, the Chain Frost, it's going to bounce off one, it's going to not go to anywhere else, he does invis that as well, and now the dust is thrown out, it does land onto all the heroes who are underneath that Moonlight Shadow stuns, once again being channeled by the Alchemist Bacon, it will come out to Darkrai, Darkrai will fall, but at the same time, Templar Assassin does, she bites back, she's TPing straight back into mid lane, and Coronae, they have to run. Once again, a full set of Templar Assassin who's looking for blood, she's coming back in, we have Duster, he's in here at the moment, he's throwing out those spines, Krezak, he will fall down, Cripsy, he cannot die a second time, if he dies a second time, this would be horrible for iCy, and now they're chasing away Coronae, but there was a buyback used by iCy, was it worth it? They picked up an extra kill in that fight though.
It's hard to tell. The thing is, Cripsy, like, he spent a lot of gold to buy back there. Who did they actually pick off? Was it Visage? Kaizik? Yeah, see, if they... I think it was, because I believe, Darkrai and the Timbersaw died sort of underneath tier 1 tower in mid. So I think that wasn't too bad, but it would have been a lot better if they, for example, picked up the Magic Bomb on the Lifestealer or something. They also got a tier 1 tower in top though, just because the creeps pushing out, which is noteworthy.
And so the glyph is forced out the wards underneath the tower. Again, the Visage Familiars to work through them, and that is a strong idea. Make sure you're not going to take any damage yourself. And then all the wards are gone. So that is a free 300 gold going the way of Coronae there, just throwing out the wards. And now they have to back because they've just lost one of their bigger ultimates. And Alchemist, he's going to be happy to back. He's just going to continue farming up. He's got 1800 gold already back in the bank. He's now 20k ahead of this lifesteal, so he's back to where he wants to be. Not as far ahead as he wants to be. 2k. What did I say? Did I say 200?
20,
Oh, 20. Oh, jeez.
20k.
That would have been a little bit massive. And like, still, he is now working to his Maelstrom, I believe. Unless he's, no, he's picking up an AC. What am I talking about? Going towards an AC.
Yeah, that AC is certainly going to help him, particularly up against this. I'm actually a little bit surprised he didn't go for the bashes after the armlet, but AC as well is certainly going to help out, especially since you have a Visage with the medallion as well. So lots of negative armor being thrown out. It's a good pickup for sure. And when you have heroes like the Alchemist and the Bristleback who are quite tanky, it does help you out quite a lot.
We want to have a look at the difference in gold. The gold is in favour of iCy once again. The XP still sitting down in Coronae's favour, as they have been able to absorb as much XP around the map. Especially if it's just been from the start of the game. Because they did not run the tri lane, and they were having heroes around the map sitting in those lanes, whereas iCy had rotations that did not work as well as they want to. Coronae have just kept the experience lane. It's just been pretty much on par, slowly going up, and now we have an initiation coming on in. We've got Bacon, he throws out the stun. There was a sentry there. We have an Infest coming out. V2, he's going to fall down. He's not going to be able to get anything further off. The Alchemist is now dead, so it's a 1-for-1 trade. Duster, he's going to go down. He's been ripped through by Magic Bomb. That's a 2-for-2 trade because the Lich also did go down. He didn't even get his ultimate off. There goes the Surge. It's a 2-for-3, and iCy are ripping through his heroes. Can Cripsy get on out of here? They're turning back around. The wards have been thrown down, and this is Falling Force, Magic Bomb, and Dark Rider get on out of here. Will Murano land a hero arrow? Arrow's going in. It will land into Magic Bomb. He turns into it. Cripsy, he just needs one auto attack. Will he be able to grab it? He does grab it. There's a 4-for-2 trade, and Cripsy, he's going to have to run. Dark Rider, he did not go to the tree he wanted to. If he'd gone to that, that would have picked off Leifon, and that would have been another kill. But instead, iCy, they come out on top with a 4-for-2 trade.
Yeah, I saw that Timber Chain go all the way across the thing, yet he sort of moved to a trade nearby. Not sure if that was just me. But yeah, that was, if he had gone through that, as you said, he probably would have been able to pick off Leifon, and maybe even Recruit. Recruit was just sort of on the other side. A zip from there and follow up with a Chakram certainly would have landed him at least one kill. But a little bit unfortunate there for him. But well played by iCy. A little bit unfortunate that Bacon died so early, but the rest of the fight just went really smoothly for iCy. Cripsy getting off a few kills there, and quite some needed gold. She has to start working towards those big items now. It does have the BKB, of course, but it looks like she wants to move towards a Yoshi as her next item. So there's a later for her this game. A little bit of an interesting choice.
It's a little bit unfortunate as well, that last fight, that there was no Chain Frost. There was a Chain Frost, and actually we have an arrow land onto Dark Rider in mid lane. Dark Rider's going to be in a lot of trouble. V2 scares them off, and they both go running with the tower in between their legs. So luckily, V2 there was to help out Dark Rider. But as I was going to say, there's no Chain Frost in that last fight. If that was thrown out, that would have caused a lot of issues between iCy, and they wouldn't have been able to ran through as hard and fast as they did over the Coronae lineup. And a lot of the heroes, they survived with about 200, 300 HP. A Chain Frost does 370 damage per bounce. Negate a little bit of magic damage, it does about 330 damage per bounce. And that would have finished off these heroes. And not to mention, you probably would have a few heroes survive later on in that fight, such as the Lifestealer, who unfortunately did run into that arrow near that tier 2 tower.
Yeah, it looks like they want to try to go for Roshan. This is very dangerous because Coronae, they've actually smoked up. Rana hasn't popped a Moonlight Shadow. There we go. She's popped it now. There is a sentry.
Arrows come flying on in, it lands to Rylus, he dubs absorb it. He needs to get this Chain Frost out. Will he be able to, or will he die? He throws it. No, he doesn't. He doesn't have enough mana. We do see the Alchemist, he dies already. Rylus is going to go shortly after, and now it's a 1-for-1 trade. The Alchemist for the Lich, and now Leifon, he's going to just burn afterwards. He's got his wards down, so the wards are working through these heroes. And now Cripsy, he's behind the group. He picks off one. There's 3 heroes down, 4-2 trade. Now Krasik, he's going to die. He can't get out of it. Dark Rider's trying to help him. He's TPing. Will he get on out of it? He does get out of here, but will that hit dislodge? Will it be enough to kill in that fountain? I think it did dislodge. Oh wait, no, here it comes. Will it be enough? Actually, it did dislodge. I didn't think TP's dislodged. I know they don't dislodge spells anyway. Anyway, Cripsy says, let's take the Roshan for ourselves, and they're starting to work on it. And then Chakram's working wonders against Duster at the moment. But the Roshan does get picked off. He almost comes through, and the Aegis is popped. So Darkrai, he picked off the Aegis as soon as they picked up the Roshan, and that is a really nice play to come flying on and through there, to at least get rid of that Aegis. So all they got was a 200 gold advantage, so basically a tower, but as long as they don't have an Aegis for this next fight, that is fantastic.
They also got quite a bit of experience there. I mean, just looking at the experience graph, just from that, basically those recent fights, it has really swing back up into iCy's favor now. Not by
Conceal your
much, but it's
sadness.
still a decent amount, and that gold is just keeps getting better and better for them. 7.5k. I gotta just say that the later this game goes, that EXP graph not as relevant, just because your heroes they get their max level in their first skills. It's really the ultimate that they're lacking, and after they have that, it really is just there's a little bit of extra stats, which of course helps, but it's not as big as having like a 7.5k advantage um, across the board.
Hmm. And now Alchemist. Let's have a look at the items in the game. The Raccoon, he's just got an Orchid Oblivion stuff, so he might be working towards that stuff. Orchid Malevolence, blah. Anyway, I'll come back to that shortly. There's a smoke up by iCy. They're going through this river. They go underneath the ward. I'm not sure if it is spotted because there's a ward in that mid lane or not being able to see her across that river. And anyway, they walk into Rylos once again. Rylos is gonna melt. Unfortunately, Rylos is always caught out in the wrong time. Wrong place at the wrong time every single time. And each team fight, he needs to get the Chain Frost off. Instead, he throws out the Frost Blast and has no mana. And that happens each team fight, so I really hope he decides to start throwing out the Chain Frost first, because if that comes off, I don't think they would have fallen. They wouldn't have fallen behind as they have at the moment, and iCy would be in this
Radiant's
lead.
middle tower is under attack. Radiant structures are
Yeah, I do agree there.
fortified.
But yeah, just going back to those items as you were mentioning, we do have
Radiant's
Raccoon.
middle
There's
tower
almost
has
seems like he's orchid.
fallen.
Shadow Shaman being played by Layphon doesn't have too much. They will try to go for his tier 2
Radiant's
tower
middle
there, and they
tower
do pop
is
the
under
wards.
attack.
Probably a little bit unnecessary,
Dire's
but
top
nonetheless,
tower has
at the same
fallen.
time, actually, Coronae Australis, they want to go for the mid tier 2 tower. So tier 2 for a tier 2,
Radiant's middle tower has
so they just want to keep
fallen.
trading.
Yeah, it looks like Coronae, they don't want to keep trading. They're going to come out and the Chain Frost. The first time he throws Chain Frost out in 3 team fights, it goes the wrong damn way. That's unlucky. At least it forces them to back off there and they will all TP home. And no damage done to the tier 3 to their mid tower, but there's a little bit of tier 3 damage done to Coronae's tier up top lane.
Regeneration.
Yeah, not much, but it's nothing. It's more like a minor scratch, I should say. And just going back to those items, Bristleback, he's getting more tanky. He's working towards his BKB next. Cripsy, Templar Assassin, working towards the Desolator now after picking up the Yasha, and that's actually a really big deal because it'll work as well with Bacon's Acid Spray and also Bristleback's Snot with the Viscous Nasal Glue, and it also helps buff his Quill Spray a little bit more because of his physical damage. Bacon's also picked up the Basher, which is quite nice.
And there we go. Down on the side of Coronae, you've got the AC picked up on the Magic Bomb, and they've also smoked up. They're going to be rotating down into the bottom river. You've got the armlet, you've got the Medallion on the Visage, who usually picks it up. He's got his Scythe of Aghanim Scepter now. That will be doing a lot of damage with his Familiars and Stun if he can get that out and run. You got the Mechanism on the Lich, Blink Dagger on the Puck, and finally, Timbersaw, he's got his Bloodstone. But there's not a lot of big items up on the side of Coronae at the moment. They are behind that gold by 7.5k, and now the smoke has been revealed. A Moonlight Shadows pop will be enough. Do they have Revelation? They got stars for all the heroes. Cripsy's taking a lot of damage. We do have the Chuckle come through. Bacon's trying to mount up. He gets 3-man stun. He's trying to pick up Rylos. Rylos, he does get the Mechanism up. He's chained for not off cooldown for another 3 seconds. But the Starfall does pick him off. V2, he's in a lot of trouble. Can he get on out of it? He does. The team is there to back him up to pick off the Akkas. Now Cripsy, he's in a lot of trouble. He's going to be rotated around. He's going to run away. He's out there with his tail between his legs. But that's a 2-for-1 trade so far. They also pick up a ward in the meantime, but they're going to be able to get on there without too much hassle. And someone else, TA picked up a Visage, so it's a 2-for-2 trade with the TP out from heroes all over the place.
Yeah, and actually, sorry, not Cripsy, Kaisak was trying to teleport out, but Cripsy was able to get the last auto attack just in time and was able to pick up the Visage. So last time he got out in time, but this time around Cripsy just a little bit too much damage, and we can just, I gotta say, that's probably thanks to the Desolator. The extra armor reduction, extra damage certainly helps out when you got heroes trying to escape.
And now we have the wards being thrown down the bottom lane. And Lathan, where the hell are you doing, mate? You have no teammates with you. You have a buddy lifesteal walking up to you. You could see him. It was daytime vision. Decided to throw down his wards and decide, oh, I could take this tower by myself, and just got decimated.
Those wards didn't even attack the tower. If he had at the very least micro them to do some chip damage, would have been worth it to some degree. Or it would not have been worth it, but it would have been way better than, you know, doing nothing to that tower. He basically just attacked uh, the lifestealer who, like, you know, doesn't really care. It was just basically a free farm for him.
Mm. And now they're going to be rotating down bottom. They're going for the last tier 1 tower in this game. And I don't think iCy will be able to defend this, so they're going to go on and take this out with too much hassle. Bacon, he might throw down his acid spray. He might not. He's just going to disappear back in. But there's TP spot coming into this tier 2 tower. And it looks like Coronae, because they've got the top lane pushed in, they see one hero up top. The mid lane is pretty much on an equilibrium. They're going to start pushing bottom. They're going to force an initiation. And they're going to force an engagement. And who will come out on top? Coronae. They've been kind of winning and losing these fights. It's been fairly even trades. But how will the Chain Frost go this time? Will Lich wait to a good position, or will a creep wave walk past and completely ruin his engagement? So now it just comes to a little bit of a Mexican standoff, and who will make the first move. And here we go. It comes on in Chakram. The silence has been thrown out, and the Hex onto the Timbersaw, but Timbersaw just rotates behind. He's not going to worry about it. Bacon's going to throw out the stun. The stun will land onto 3 hero. Big stun, but Bacon, he's going to pop his BKB. He's going to fall shortly after. That's a 1-for-1 trade. Now we lose the lifesteal. Lifesteal, he's gone. He's not going to be able to stand up and help them out. Then the crit comes on out, picks off V2. Darkrai, he's going to fall shortly after. They're chasing him down. He's so slow. He's got TP if he wants to get out of it, but he denies himself, and all the rares go to the admins of the game, and then Rylus, he picks off a kill himself, but that's a 4-for-2 trade. That is harsh. Coronae was not expecting such a harsh initiation and turnaround.
I think what they were hoping for was, because they saw Cripsy up in, well, basically not around, they saw him in top lane, and Cripsy actually went towards mid. Not sure if they actually got the tier 2 tower there just then, or if that was a little bit before. But yeah, then he teleported back into bottom. Bacon did fall very quickly, and I gotta say, his Alchemist, he's been like dropping extremely fast in these team fights. You need something to help him tank up, just because his ultimate doesn't give him that extra health, and we can really see it affect him there. But Cripsy basically doing so much damage at the moment. Has a Manta style, has Desolator. This is just a crazy amount. If she picks up something like a crit, or it doesn't matter what she picks up next really, she's absolutely melting that lifesteal already, just because the extra minus armor that she's getting and the crazy attack speed that she has.
Yeah, and speaking of that negative armor, even Magibum with the Assault Curse doesn't help him stay alive any longer than what he currently is. And what do you think Magibum should do to try and counter this? Do you think he should go for that heart, or work towards a Satanic, or how do you think he should try and avoid the damage he's receiving from the TA? Because at the moment they just don't have any answer for her.
The problem is she's not really being locked down, in my opinion. All the time we see her being, you know, she's moving around a lot, she's getting off her refraction, she's getting off her meld, so she's able to get off a lot of attacks and dish out a lot of high damage very quickly. In my opinion, because Bacon is falling so quickly, the lifesteal I could consider something such as the Abyssal, which Bacon has actually already picked up, and then just pop that Abyssal on top of Cripsy. Cripsy won't be able to attack. That's, you know, what is it? What's the actual duration on it? I don't even remember anymore. 1.4 seconds. When you've got a Visage there, and as you know, we mentioned this a little bit before, when you've got those Visage familiars attacking and stuff like that, those refractions charges just drop very, very quickly. So, especially since you've got a Timbersaw there as well, who can throw out chakrams and all that sort of stuff. Lock her down and kill her very quickly. The other thing he can do is, besides that Abyssal, I guess he can go for something like a Satanic, which does, you know, as you were saying. But at the same time, if he gets locked down while Bacon's still alive, that's not going to really help him, because Bacon, you know, he has his Abyssal now as well, so. And it's a bit of a tricky situation. I think it's not so much both of those items can help him out, but it's going to be how well the team positions themselves as well. And I think these familiar stuns need to be used more effectively as well.
And the interesting thing there, both sides saw the Roshan, but there was nothing Coronae could do about it. And the 3 familiars got melted. They were coming down for a stun. They got melted from one auto attack side blade coming out from the Temporary Assassin. They burnt, and then they just picked up the Aegis. Aegis did go to the Alchemist. I think they wanted to pick it up on Cripsy, but they were a little scared that there was coming an initiation coming on in, because the stun did come down, so they just picked it up. So it's not on the hero you want it on, necessarily, but at least it'll help Bacon. And we have a Dream Coil onto 4 heroes. Chainfrost is coming out, but it goes the wrong way! Can that be any more unfortunate? Silence comes out, Infest comes through, they gotta start ripping through Bacon, but Bacon's got the Aegis, so that's not the hero you want to go for. Magic Bomb's gonna run, he's gonna fall. Does he have a buyback? He does. He will buy back the Aegis now. Pop Darkrai's trying to do whatever he can with the damage of his Charkham. We still no one dead on the side of iCy, and no one else has died in this game. We do see Puck. She has to buy back into this game. That's 2 buybacks, and now they're just gonna retreat. Forced 2 buybacks. They lost no one, and well, that was as good as an engagement could be for iCy.
Yeah, and I think that's why they put the Aegis on Bacon. I think they noticed that in a lot of these team fights that Bacon was falling very, very quickly, and Cripsy hasn't died for quite a while. Is on a beyond godlike streak or something. So I think that the choice to put on the Aegis on Bacon was wise and planned, because as we were saying, he's falling very quickly, and he does help in those team fights because he's got the bashes and his stun and stuff like that, and of course the acid spray, which does minus armor. Whereas Cripsy, he's just so survivable, and it's a bit strange considering Coronae have a lot to shut him down, or they should have a lot to shut him down.
And now we have Coronae. They were going to go down bottom and push, but they decided to not worry about that. They're going to go through into the mid lane. It looked like they wanted to go and force another engagement, but at the moment, as you said, they can't really take these engagements. Even at their own base, they got shut down by Cripsy. What can they do? Like, I mean, sure they have to shut down Cripsy, but how? Cripsy's always in the backlines until she jumps out when everyone else is engaged. She's always the last one to join in on the fights, and then just decimate with the Desolator. Heroes, it's just, how do you find TA at the moment? She's elusive until the last minute where she's destroying your team.
Yeah, it's a little bit strange because she doesn't have a blink dagger or anything to pop into anywhere. But it's a bit tough. I don't even really know what you can do. I guess you can try to get up inside the puck with the infest, and then send out your illusory orb to go through the lineup, and then come from behind and sort of do sort of like a pincer scissor circle around them sort of thing. But I'm not even sure if that will be too successful with this sort of, just iCy are playing really well, and it comes down to positioning, like that positioning there, which happened underneath the tier 3 tower. That should have been Coronae Australis' win there, but in terms of the team fight, but they just came out on top. A little bit is to come to items. I mean, you still look at Coronae, they don't have too many big items. There's no, it's 41 minutes in, there's no Hex on Park, there's nothing like that. There's, at this point, it's again to the point where it almost doesn't matter what they try to do, just because they don't have items to shut these heroes down. You know, Templar Assassin, 5 seconds on the Black King bar, but that's not a very long time. You can easily shut it down, particularly if you've got a blink on the Park. So yeah, it's I don't know. I think it's getting to the point where they're just gonna, that Coronae are just gonna keep getting backed up against this wall, and iCy just gonna keep pushing out. And I'm not sure what Coronae can do, honestly. It's I guess awesome bounces from the Chain Frost
For the first time in the game.
There's not been any so far.
Yeah. But this Paul V2, I mean, he is starved for money. You're 42.5 minutes in, you have a blink, you have a Void Stone. That's really all you have. That just shows how bad his game has been so far. I mean, it hasn't been bad, it's just been not to the standard you would hope for a Puck. You should have at least your Cypher Vice by now. You should be working towards maybe a Shivers or some kind of other big item, but just, you're still trying to get enough money to buy your Cypher Vice. It just hurts. It's kind of, it's sad to see, because V2 had a nice start of the game. He was doing fine in the lane. He was doing fine around the map, trying to find kills. He was saving teammates, but then he just wasn't getting the farm he so desired. And well, now look at him. He's almost dead weight. He still has a silence. He still has the Dream Call, but he can't stay in these fights because he don't even have that ultimate orb and bonus stats that a Scythe gives you to be able to either auto attack or absorb some damage.
Yeah, and I just want to point out, Tempo Assassin is doing 1k crits, and that's without, you know, any extra minus armor from acid spray and stuff like that. So, I mean, if you 1k crits, that's a lot of damage. I mean, Puck should die in one shot, basically, and literally isn't too far off. That's gonna hurt.
And that was without the meld damage too, which is that bonus 200 damage with
Yeah.
negative armor on it. So that could easily skyrocket up to about 1600 damage right there. And that's a force to be reckoned with. And if you get a refraction hit from that crit onto someone else, they're instantly going to die because there's no armor to stop that. So even if it hits a Timbersaw, look at him, I've got 28 armor. Refraction hits you. Oh, you act like you've got 0 armor anyway.
Yeah, I mean, with the you know, we got acid spray, just doing the minus armor there, and you've got the desolator, you got that meld. That's sure Timbersaw. Even if you got all 16 stacks of that reactive armor, it just it's a lot of damage. It's too much. I feel like I gotta say, it feels like that Coronae. Well, sorry, I should say that iCy are picking up the right heroes from Coronae. I haven't seen Rylos pop out that mecha a lot in those, you know, in those key points in the engagement. But generally, it's because he's getting picked off. I'm not saying it's, you know, it's not his fault at all. It's just that iCy are just doing it so well. Oh, where the hell
And
was
Tempo
that?
Assassin just pops in on the puck in mid lane and just decimates her. There's nothing she would have done about that. She just walked, milled, one hit, gone. That was the end of that chapter.
Was that a side blade or was that just a right click?
I
On Dirk
think
Dillon?
it was a sideblade because there was no way Cripsy was getting that close to a puck without Puck being able to blink on out of there. So I think that was a sideblade attack. And Puck is forced to buy back, so she's already used her buyback. Yeah, they're walking into the tier 3 towers. They have the damage to rip through this tower. I mean, look at that. She's just decimating that tower. You can't do anything. The Dream Coil is thrown out. It only lands it to 2 heroes. It is both breaking. Magic Bomb, he's coming on in, but Duster is not the hero you want to go for. Cripsy's man fighting. You need to go for Cripsa. We do have one bounce. It's coming back in, and this is the bounces you want to be doing. It will continue to root kill him. It'll come back to the Crips. It'll come back in. Bacon has fallen, and now Duster, he's still trying to find damage, and Cripsy hasn't been able to find any of the auto attacks he's been wanting to. He's going to come back in. He's trying to melt strike. It did not come off there, so he has to retreat. And Alchemist for a Puck who did buy back and die for a second time. So once again, Coronae, they do not come off favourable, but they are able to defend the tier 3s.
Radiant's top tower is
That
under
could have
attack.
gone better for Coronae, in my opinion, if they had dusts. I don't think the Moonlight Shadow was popped there, and the moment iCy moved out of the base, it looked like Coronae wanted to continue, but they had no way to reveal them. From what I could tell, yeah, in fact, no one's carrying any sort of detection. Which is a little bit. Actually, no, Fizz has the gem.
It just picked
When
that
did
up
he pick
then.
that up?
It just bought it.
Oh, okay,
Because I
just
think
then.
you were, I think you were
Right.
completely correct. They're like, oh crap, we couldn't have done anything that last fight. Let's get a gem so that won't happen to us a second time.
Yeah, because I think they had that engagement. They could have continued on pushing out. Cripsy was very low. You know, those refraction charges were getting burst down a lot. Duster, as we saw there, he's actually got a Heaven's Halberd. He's finished that off before his BKB. But the smart thing that Coronae is doing is not targeting the Bristle, because I believe they did it in one engagement and it turned out really badly for him. And they have to finish off these other heroes. You know, you've got Shadow Shaman who's pretty fragile, Raccoon who does have a leap, but if you can knock him down and that sort of stuff. But Cripsy is really the one that they have to pick off, because the rest of the team from iCy, I mean, sure, of course they're helping out here, but Cripsy is the one who's absolutely decimating your lineup.
And you saw Magic Bomb do that at the start. He did get 2 or 3 auto attacks off and used his open wounds on Duster. So that was an open wounds gone. That's 3 auto attacks worth about 600 damage once you have the armor toggled. Gone. And if you used that on any other hero, that could have been to great effect. Maybe the Cripsy forced him to be even more defensive. Maybe the Mirana and picked her off at the start where she only survived for about 200-300 HP. So a little bit unfortunate there that they did target Duster, but he wanted to hit someone and do some damage, so he got a little bit impatient there and went after him. And now they're just going to be waiting once again for iCy to start moving towards these tier 3 towers.
Pretty much. I mean, that tier 3 tower in mid 100 health, there's no buyback on Puck for, what, 3 minutes? And, I mean, I gotta say, they've been a little bit passive considering, like, when they got the 2 buybacks in bottom lane, forced out, they could have, you know, backed off, regrouped, and then gone for another push. And if they picked up the Lifestealer and Puck again, who I believe was the one who brought back in that bottom lane, in that engagement whenever it was 5-10 minutes ago now. It could have caused a lot of issues because that's a long respawn time. All their heroes would have been up. Either the lost heroes, all their heroes would have been up before Coronaes, and they could have continued off the aggression. Instead, they've been a little bit passive, sort of just waiting for Roshan, which is up now. So I think they're gonna go for Rosh, and then they're going to go for a push and probably a win there.
And now the unpauses, they've got vision on this Roshan, so if they want to just walk near it, they can easily take it down. And now,
Oh, just look at the goal difference actually. 20k for iCy, and in terms of experience, it's 20k as well. So whatever advantage Coronae had earlier on in this game, around the 24 to 30 minute mark, it's completely gone.
and now they've smoked up. They're waiting for Rosh. They're waiting for iCy to come on in here, and it looks like iCy, they're grouping up down the bottom tower, and they're going to be looking to do attack of their own. And they've smoked up. They're going to walk into each other. There we go. The Frost Blast comes out. It's bouncing between all these heroes. That's the Frost Blast you want. That's a Shadow Shaman. That's a Mirana down. But Cripsy, he's standing here. He's burning through all these heroes. He's not being contested at all. He's got too much health. He's got too much damage. Magic Bomb. He's down. That is 3 heroes. And now they're just going to work through their last 2 heroes in this lineup. Rylos, he is gone. He is out of this. And now, Timbersaw, where are you? Back at home. And this is a free Roshan. And they're just going to easily push their way into this tier 3 towers. I mean, your buyback status. You still don't have a buyback on Puck. You do have a buyback on Lifestealer and the Visage, but you don't want to use it. This late in the game, over a fight like that, that's, yeah. That's pretty much going to be the nail in the coffin almost for Coronae at the moment. I don't want to say it, but what can they do after that? They had the perfect engagement with the Chain Frost, the, pretty much everything, really. Timbersaw was in there just destroying through heroes, removing as much damage. They had 2 heroes down with the Shadow Shaman and Mirana before they lost a hero, but then Cripsy just ripped through everyone else in the end. And I don't know what Coronae can do anymore to come back into this game.
No, I think this is just GG. I think iCy have secured themselves the win, especially with this Rax down now. Coronae aren't going to be able to defend them. In fact, they're just going to go for the bottom tier 3 and the Rax there as well. Once they have this, we should see a GG coming out. I mean, Coronae did really well in the early game to hold on, but I think at this point in the game, it's a bit too late.
And there we go. And look at that. He just gets burned through. He doesn't have any health whatsoever. And he's walking away, but he will be zapped down. And there goes the next rack set. And as we've said, Coronae, they should be tapping out of this very shortly. And iCy will be continuing on in their group stages undefeated. This will be their 4th game. They have won and gone undefeated. So they should be moving on into the upper brackets with their 4 wins and 0 losses so far.
Yeah, extremely well played there by iCy. The early game not so well for them, but they eventually were able to find some good farm on Cripsy, on Bacon, and start turning around. A very close game though for most of that, I've got to say. Congratulations to iCy once again, and Coronae Australia still, I mean, after that game, they didn't do too bad, so I think they're still fairly confident they can do well in the rest of their matches today. This has been a Defense of the Australians production, and I've been Zalorf and joined by Dota Yoshi. Big thank you to our sponsors, Weta, for sponsoring the tournament. We have a lot more action coming up. If you'd like to follow me, you can do so at twitch.tv/Zalorf or at ZalorfDota on Twitter, and you can follow Dota Yoshi at youtube.com/DotaYoshi or on Twitter at Dota Yoshi. Thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll be back shortly with the